What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the NerdWide podcast, episode 69. Nice.
Yeah,
Everybody,
nice.
I'm your host, Tyler Haynes, with my good friend and co host, Chris Rivers. Chris, we got to see each other this week for a very important movie,
We did. Yeah.
and I can't wait to talk about it. So, spoiler free, of course, for now. And then later on in the year, later on in the next couple of weeks, we'll talk about spoiler palooza, just like what we did Spider Man. Uh,
Yeah.
Quick housekeeping because we got a little bit of shows to talk about here. Don't forget to subscribe to either our YouTube or podcasting services of your choice. If you enjoy your show, make sure you leave us a thumbs up on the podcasting on YouTube and the podcasting apps. If you want to give us good ratings, you can do that as well. If you don't enjoy what you see or hear, make sure you leave us a comment and let us know how we can improve the show. If you want to do more, you can always go to patreon.com/nerdwide. There's 3 different tiers for 3 different monetary values and for 3 different kinds of perks and enjoyables that way. But
hmm
Chris, how was your week?
Yes. It was great
Mm.
as of Thursday.
Mm.
Thursday on's been really good.
Yeah,
Monday through Wednesday.
just classic work and not fun at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
I get that. We got home late Thursday night, so went off a little bit of low sleep on Friday.
Uh-huh.
But wasn't too bad. Grizzlies played Saturday, horrible. Turned it off, I think in the third period, and then other than that, it's just been chill weekend. Nothing too crazy,
Yeah.
which is how
Well,
I like them.
the Grizzlies, they're doing better than the Preds are. So,
Are the president doing that well?
last I saw, they're down 3 games to none to
Oh,
Colorado.
well,
Yeah.
that's not like them at all either.
No.
No, don't like that. Mm-mm.
Nope.
Chris, I got something I want to talk about. You've been sending me
What's that?
pictures all week, having some
Hey.
fun, some comments.
Well, this is
Hey,
episode 69.
right. those are the private ones. I'm not going to bring those up. But Chris, you've been watching a newer show to you. What you been watching this week?
I started watching The Boys.
Yeah, you did. That
Yeah,
sounds
I
very
did.
dirty.
Yeah, it does, especially on episode 69.
Right.
How did this time out this way?
It's just how we work.
Uh, yeah, I'm 4 episodes in. I think the most recent episode is, see, I'm trying to remember now, is because I've just seen A Train's race.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the same? I think that's the same episode as it is the same episode as the plane crash.
Yeah.
And I sent you a message and I was like, Homelander is an asshole.
Yes. It's
Yeah,
great. I mean, they
it
go
is.
so many directions with that show, and it's fun.
It is. It's very fun right now. And Mother's Milk is in there at this point.
Gets better.
Uh, yeah. I'm looking forward to how many do you remember offhand how many episodes
I do
season 1
not.
has?
I know 2
It's
seasons. I don't think it's that many. It might have been,
probably 10 to 12.
yeah, if that many. It might have been an 8 one. Let me see here. Because we've got season 3 coming out next month,
Yeah.
and they haven't even given us a trailer yet. No, they've given us
That
a
was
trailer.
that was kind of the partial reason that I wanted to go ahead and jump into it because I was like, well, they're about to drop season 3
Oh, yeah, we're definitely going to watch that.
and and
Let's see. The Boys
uh,
season 1 had 8 episodes.
okay.
Season 2
So I'm
is
halfway
8.
through season 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
That's good. It's good
it's
to
gonna
know.
be so much fun. I can't wait. Like it just season 2. I mean, season 1's great. Season 2 even better. And I feel like season 3 is gonna be on top of that as well. They found the rhythm and they're running with it. They know what they can do, and that that no holds bar. Just let it rip is all that is. And,
They definitely set Starlight up from the beginning to be the favorite,
mm-hmm,
because she's new, she doesn't agree with a lot of this,
right.
but
Oh, it gets fun.
Queen Maeve is certainly set up to be
Mm-hmm.
another favorite because she's like, what have we become?
Mm-hmm. The plane scene with her is like her kind of tipping point onto
Yeah,
something's going on. So,
yeah,
I mean, the reason I love that show is because it's what would happen if there were superpowers and superheroes in today's world. Like everyone's bought out by companies and sponsorships and everything like that. And I think
uh-huh.
that's what's so interesting about it. because
I
it's true.
I think one of the last scenes in the fourth episode was the very disturbing dolphin scene
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
with the deep.
Now the deep goes through things, and he goes
Yeah,
places.
but he slams on the brakes in that van, and that dolphin just goes flying out the
Yep.
window,
Oh,
and then they
you're making
just
me want
run
to
over
rewatch that
by a
show.
tractor trailer.
All right, Chris. Good. I'm glad you're watching it. We'll have to review and recap season
Yes,
3 when it comes out next month,
absolutely.
because that's a fun one. But what we're watching right now, which I was very not happy with last week, was Superman and Lois. This week, so much better with episode 11 of season 2, Truth and Consequences. Overall, the beginning scene and the ending scene, possibly some of my favorite stuff that we've seen in a long time from them. I know
Mm.
it's been 5 weeks since we've had anything good from this show, but the beginning and ending scenes were just chef's kiss, just perfect in my opinion.
Yeah, it was a good way to kick it off, and then that ending.
Oh,
Wow.
finally.
Uh, I feel like though the episode title should have just been Truth,
Right.
because we haven't seen the consequences yet.
No, that's gonna be next week, or not
Yeah,
next week. Excuse me, next month. Again,
yeah.
we're back on a 4-week hiatus away from
Why?
Superman and Lois. So come back May 31st, and
Now, now you said that Bitsy Tulloch tweeted out that it was COVID
COVID,
related,
yeah,
right?
production wise.
Who in the world could be like? Shouldn't that person just quarantine?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if it's like a whole team or if it's rules, because in Canada and Vancouver, they've got different rules than we do
That's
down
true.
here,
That's true.
and I imagine it's you can shoot this much, record this much, but I think it's post production is what the issue is, and I they've got different rules. I really want to
Maybe.
find out later on in life what really went down and why it's like this. I mean, it's the same thing with Flash. Flash has these big hiatuses as well. So, there's a new show coming out for the CW. I really want to see. They kept previewing it during this one. CW new. It's like a Black Iron Man. Is the only way I can describe it. CW new
Hmm.
show. Oh, I wish I could remember the name of it because it looks really good.
I've heard of that.
Tom Swift is what it's called. Oh, it's a Nancy Drew spinoff.
Swift.
Huh. And it comes on after Superman and Lois.
Huh.
Let me see if I can find a talking point here. Series follows the serialized adventures of its title or character, an exceptionally brilliant inventor with unlimited resources and unimaginable wealth who is thrust into a world of sci-fi conspiracy and unexplained phenomena after the shocking disappearance of his father. Tom takes the road on a quest to unravel the truth, leaving behind the comforts of his usual moneyed lifestyle while fighting to stay one step ahead of an Illuminati scale group that's hell-bent on stopping him. And it's
Sounds
like
interesting.
in the trailer, they classify him as philanthropist, playboy, and like everything that Iron Man's been described as. So
Yeah.
I was like, I'm into this. Did not realize it was a
Huh.
spin-off series though.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so I'll be watching that. I'm still stuck on All American right now. I am in season 3, so I'm getting closer and closer. Which season 4 just started on CW. So,
Right.
anyways, back to Superman
Gotcha.
and Lois. So I'm going to CBR.com by Sam Stone for this one. The inverted Jonathan
Cool,
attempts
Sam.
to merge with his Prime Universe's counterpart, only for Superman to return home in the nick of time to stop this, with the inverted boy retreating. As Clark recounts to his family what he's witnessed back in the inverted world, John begins to exhibit the same severe headaches that Superman did around Bizarro. Based on John's visions, Clark tracks his inverted John to Smallville, but is unable to stop him when he's interrupted by completely unaware Lana Lang, shocked after learning how much time has passed since he was in the inverted world. So this was really well done. I feel like the fighting scene where Jordan tries to jumps into Bizarro Jonathan gets kind of slung around right into the hay pile, and then you just know that Clark. I mean, they were starting to merge, and then you see Superman
Mm.
come out of the portal and just flying as fast as he can. I just thought it was such phenomenal storytelling and a really good scene compared to last week's episode. And that left such a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah. I love I love the term inverted boy. It sounds
Yeah,
like such a weird insult. Like,
yeah.
you're just an inverted boy. I don't,
It's a weird one.
yeah.
Back at home, tensions between Jonathan and Clark are reignited when he learns that John's girlfriend Candace is the one who's been distributing the ex-kryptonite drugs at a local high school, resulting in John's expulsion. Again, I mean, we've had a big break, so I already forgot about all that. I forgot that Clark was not there when Lois finds this information out and kind of gets
Yeah,
a
and
quick course on what happened in the month.
and that's the thing. He's surprised because he finds out it's been a
Hmm.
month, and he's like, I was only there for like a day, maybe.
Right. Oh, like I
Uh,
said, must have been. He goes, must have been the portal or time works differently there. Uh, the following morning, Lana is still troubled about how dismissive and distant Clark appeared to be when the two briefly reunited the night before, but she tables the matter to surprise her daughter Sarah with her own car, which, might I add, is the car that her and her dad are working on. So,
yeah,
like, it's a weird thing. That's a
yeah,
big muscle car. I don't know if I'd give that teenage girl that car, honestly, but
right, yeah,
to each their own. As Sarah test drives her new car, she is menaced by John, who then proceeds to attack and kidnap Lana, using the inverted world pendant to summon Lana's doppelganger to this reality. It was very funny, I thought, with him walking to the side of the car, and she's like, "What are you wearing?" And clearly, if anybody's got a brain in this show, you would easily realize that something's off. I mean, we've
right,
had in this whatever Earth Prime we're in, we've had alien invasions, people taking over each other's brains and everything. He says, not from your world and all this other stuff, and she's like, oh, okay, and just drives off. I'm like,
yeah,
you wouldn't think that something's going on. Dressing completely different, talking weird. Whatever. What do I
uh-huh,
know?
right,
Teenagers. um, Lois learns from Sarah that her family is being approached by the inverted John, with the girl unaware of what's truly taking place. Jonathan is frustrated that his father has been unable to stop his doppelganger, while Jordan is upset that Lois seemingly spoke with Sarah behind his back, still reeling from the recent breakup. Superman tracks the inverted John and Lana down, only to walk into an ambush where he is stabbed with several kryptonite shards by the evil John as horrified Lana watches. That was brutal. I would have, in all honesty, he should be dead. Let's just be honest here, because he had a big old
yeah,
chunk of kryptonite
yeah,
like impaled right in his chest, on
yeah.
top of all the little shotgun little blasts of kryptonite. So I'm like,
Was it just me, or did she seem to be going extra slow
yeah, oh yeah, she did.
when
She was
when she's?
panicking, and she was like sitting there shaking, and I was like,
It's
let's go a little faster here. He's looking really gray and ashen. But
yeah,
yeah. And then, I know it was for TV, but I would have started with the big one first because
yeah,
that's causing the most damage. And I wouldn't wait for it
yeah,
to be last. But that's
yeah.
that personally, that's just what I would have done. Uh,
That
I really like with
wow.
this episode they're playing Jordan and Sarah's breakup. Jordan being just head down all about the breakup. Not really care about what everything else is going on. Like classic teenager things, and he's just like, okay, well, why would you talk to her? Like, you've got your brother's doppelganger is here, and he's flying around doing all this other stuff, but you're only worried about Sarah in your breakup, which
Yeah,
is so funny to me.
and even after he writes the note to her, and he's wanting to give it to her, and her first response is, "Dude, my mom's missing.
Yeah,
Now's
like
not the
it's
time."
classic
And
teenager man.
he's just he's just like, well, just he tries to give it to her like I just put it all down in here, and she's
Right.
like, I don't want your note.
Which we,
I don't want your note.
future spoilers here, and found out that he revealed the family secret in this note, and nobody knew about.
Yeah,
So, well, Jonathan knew about it because he helped him with it. Um, let's see. The inverted Lana emerges from the portal, answering the pendant's call, only to run into John and Natalie as they excavate X-Kryptonite to power their experimental devices. Lana nearly kills both of them, but Natalie is able to incapacitate the supervillain and sends her back to her own world through the portal. Back at the inverted John's hideout, actually, we're going to put a pin there. When she comes back to their house and she starts working on her own project, she's making her own suit, correct? That's what we kind of
I
see on
think
the monitor.
yeah,
So I'm like, yeah, we're getting steel. I'm really excited about this.
that's what I took it
Finally.
to be.
Yeah.
Now, knowing DC, who knows? But
Yeah. Let's see. Back at the inverted John's hideout, Lana removes a kryptonite from Superman's body while Jordan fights the inverted Jonathan back at the Kent family farm when the villain returns to finish what he started with his double. As the fight escalates, Jordan gains the ability to fly for the first time before the recovered Superman arrives on the scene to turn the tide of battle. Again, very good scene. He jumps up and flies, and I was like, oh my god, he's flying for the first time. And then he realizes he's flying for the first time and starts falling. I was like, yeah, this is well done. Very well done. The inverted John is defeated and remanded to military custody as the Kent family regroups in the immediate aftermath of such a harrowing experience. Shaken by everything that has transpired and encouraged by his family, Clark reveals his superhero secret to the real Lana, who immediately recognizes him as Superman. And all it takes, Chris, was taking the glasses off. Sure. Sure.
I did like the way, though, that they didn't leave it at that. Because he takes the glasses off, and there's this look on her face. But then he starts floating.
Did exactly what in episode 1 of season 1 with his boys. I was like, I guess that's all you gotta do is just take the glasses off and fly. So
at that point, she's like, oh my God, you're Superman.
Right. And then he even blows the tree to ice. And
what's interesting about that is when he saves Lana, like when he takes her home, she not knowing at that point that it's Clark, right? Because she can't imagine this guy with glasses and what he would look like. She turns kind of over her shoulder and says, "Would you like to come in?"
Mm-hmm.
So she's trying to get Superman in bed, but then she realizes
she's doing the whole Lois thing. What happened first? And that's what, like, even during that conversation at the house, she was like, oh, what are the Kents going to say? We have to warn the Kents. And she said, I have to tell Lois and Clark. And Superman goes, I think Lois will be okay. He never mentioned Clark at all.
Right.
And that's why I was like, oh my God, he's going to tell her now. Or she's going to figure it out. But she didn't. And I was like, oh, come on. You got to be a little bit smarter than that. He gave you a lot of hints just now.
Yeah.
And so, but in the end, he does tell her. And I think this is going to get very interesting from here on out. I wonder what they're going to do. Whether they're going to do everything's fine and dandy, or she's going to be pissed off and feel betrayed because he's had the secret the whole time, and they're supposed to be best friends, and she's never been told. I don't know what way they're going to go with it.
I wonder too, because Jordan wanted to tell Sarah about him.
Mm-hmm.
Will they keep that a secret still, but tell Sarah about Clark, and let her think, okay, that's why.
Right.
Stuff's been going on, and not tell her about Jordan yet.
Right. There's a lot of ways they could go with it. I hope they handle it correctly. I don't want it to be the whole, oh, I'm pissed off at you because you've kept this secret from me kind of thing. Yeah. Which a lot of superhero shows, that's the trope that they use. I'm just like, okay, we're kind of past that. I mean, if you came out to me, Chris, and said, hey, I'm X, Y, and Z, the superhero of our Earth, I couldn't tell you. Because to protect you, that's awesome. Okay, thank you. But let's move past this. I want to be the guy in the chair kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I just don't like that trope anymore. That's me.
I just think if they save the reveal to Sarah about Jordan and only tell her about Clark, it gives you a storyline for further down the road. To bring up later on. Yeah,
I'm down for that. I want their dad, Kyle, to know. That's who I want. Like, out of all of this, I just want Kyle to know. And I don't know how he would take it, but it would make so much more sense, really.
Yeah.
So, I miss him, and I want him in another episode.
But the more people that know, the more likely that it all spirals, right? So I wonder, I don't know. I wonder how that's going to go.
Yeah. It's going to be fun, but we have to wait a month before it happens again anyways. Ugh.
Now, where I could see Lana getting upset with him is that John Henry Irons knew.
Mm-hmm. Some random new guy.
She knew, yeah. I don't think she would mind with Lois, because obviously they got together.
Right.
So, and they have a family.
Because it definitely runs deeper than just, that family.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun. Okay. We'll wait a month to talk about that one again for some reason. On to Moon Knight, Episode 6, Gods and Monsters, the Season 1 finale, maybe series finale. We still do not know. We're going to TVLine.com by Andy Swift for the recap here. Following one of the most chaotic cliffhangers in the history of the MCU, Episode 6 of Moon Knight, the grand finale, if you can believe it, picks up with his titular hero still very much dead, leaving only Layla to stop Arthur from freeing Amit. Is she successful? Not entirely. Thank you. Arthur indeed awakens the giant alligatress, who in turn accepts him as her new avatar. But thanks to a message from Toweret, Layla is able to free Khonshu, who immediately tries to convince her to take Mark's place. She wisely rejects the god's offer, telling him, "We'll work together without me enslaving myself." And the author says, yes, boundaries. So,
there you go.
Very cool way to start this. Giant alligator woman. Pretty menacing. They kill everybody in the little sanctum, whatever you want to call that place, where all the gods gather. I thought it was very fun. And Layla quickly is like, I'm not about this life. I'm not doing this Khonshu. I've seen what you've done to Mark. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Meanwhile, Mark is not living his best afterlife. He can't possibly mellow out in the field of weeds, knowing that Steven is still out there in the desert. So Mark ignores Talret's warnings and says sayonara to paradise. The two Oscar Isaacs eventually reunite the sayings that it really is a thing of beauty. Quote, "I survived because I knew I wasn't alone. You were always there, full of hope," Mark tells Steven, thanking him for being there when life became too dark to handle. All the while this is happening, he's being turned to stone, just like Steven was. And it was very beautiful. The two hearts being, the heart being held in his hand, in each other's hand. He said, "You didn't abandon me, and there's no way in hell I'm ever going to abandon you." I was like, yes, this is the MCU storytelling I love right here. Right. Mark then appears to suffer the same fate as Steven, but when the heart between them begins to glow, they're both restored, and they start hugging, and let the hugging commence, is what this says. Back in the land of living, Moon Knight joins the fight against Amit, occasionally shifting into Mr. Knight. As they explained, we do come as a package deal now. And speaking of package deal, Khonshu agrees to release them both if they help him defeat Amit. And they aren't the only ones making moves. Layla also agrees to become Talret's avatar, following a brief heart-to-heart about how she escorted Layla's father to the field of reeds. With her pact official, Layla gets a killer new costume, complete with, wait for it, wings. And I'm not the only one excited about her new look. One of the young girls in the streets say, "Are you an Egyptian superhero?" And she says, "I am." Very cool way that Talret was able to talk to Layla, only through dead people. And, if it was me, but I'm out. Nah, we're not doing this. But, Layla, a lot more braver than I am, I guess. So.
And, of course, Layla, that's the debut of the Scarlet Scarab. Mm-hmm. So
first Egyptian superhero, which is awesome. Just awesome. I mean, that was what was spoiled for me. Someone on Twitter posted the screenshot of her with the wings out and everything. I was like, oh, okay. I didn't know that Talret would be her avatar or be her god, but still pretty cool to me. I thought it was going to be like someone crazy like Isis or Anubis of some sort, but, I'm okay with Talret. I like keeping her around. Thus begins the coolest fight sequence yet, with Layla and Moon Knight and Mr. Knight, who also kicks a considerable amount of ass, mowing down Arthur's followers while the gods do battle behind them. Really cool kaiju looking fight going on in the background in Egypt. Again, MCU, anything's possible. If I was a citizen anywhere on this earth, I'd be like, all right, just Solar Wednesday, here we go. And just when it seems like Arthur has the upper hand, Mark has another classic blackout and suddenly finds himself holding Arthur's limp body. No questions asked. I love that they put this little piece in there because we still have that third personality that we don't know about yet. But they've given us so many hints throughout the season, and why not put one in the finale? And I felt like it was really well done because he was about to lose, and it does the whole little flashing black screen, and then he wakes up and Harrow's in his arms just limp. Mark and Layla drag Arthur back to the temple where they do a spell to imprison Amit in her avatar's mortal form. But when Khonshu tells Mark to kill them both, Layla reminds him that he has a choice. Mark says, "You want him dead? Do it yourself. Now release us." And I was like, yeah. Mark and Steven, there are two peas in a pod right now, and I am all about this. And I think that was one of the coolest things about this episode was them switching personalities in the fights and then, talking and things like that. I was like, yeah, this is really cool and really well done. And it feels like the classic Act 3 of one of these MCU movies where the conflict kind of resolves and then becomes even more superpowered with Mr. Knight and Moon Knight. I thought it was really well done how they did that. And then he says, "Now release us," and now we are back. Brings Mark back to reality, aka the hospital where Arthur is his doctor. Only something feels different this time around. He says, "You don't believe Khonshu and Amen are real?" Mark asks. When Arthur dismisses the gods exist, Mark coldly replies, "What if we disagree, Doc? What if we believe in something different?" Arthur says the work will have to continue, but when he suddenly starts bleeding and doesn't understand why, everyone's perception of reality comes into question. Quote, "While it's tempting to accept your diagnosis, Doc, we'd rather go save the world," Mark says. "Later, Gators," is what Steven says, and they awaken in Steven's apartment, chained to the bed, judging his British alter ego for maintaining such crappy living quarters. And that was the end until the post-credits scene. Arthur finds himself in a psychiatric hospital muttering about sand. He's escorted out by a mysterious stranger, one who appears to have killed multiple security guards in his efforts to spring Arthur. He's escorted into a limo with the license plate that says Spectre on it, where he's greeted by none other than Khonshu. He says, "Mark Spector truly believed that after he and I parted ways, I wanted his wife to be my avatar," Khonshu tells Arthur. "Why would I ever need anybody else?" But he has no idea how troubled he truly is. Meet my friend, Jake Lockley. The limo driver turns around, revealing himself to be Isaac as a third personality, one that fans of the comics have been hoping to see for some time. Jake shoots Arthur, presumably killing him, then drives off. What a finale. I mean,
Yeah.
finally we got Jake Lockley. I don't know if Arthur Harrow is dead. It's one of those things with the MCU where the villains of these shows could be killed off, but could not be killed off because I don't believe characters are dead in the MCU until we see a body. Period. So.
Yeah. The only thing that makes me think Harrow could be is he was never a big time character in the comics.
Right.
Like that was his one issue of Moon Knight that he appeared in. So it's possible, but I think they could bring Ethan Hawke back and say that Harrow was actually a different personality for this other character.
Right.
Maybe he was suffering from DID as well.
Oh, it was so good. We never know. We still don't know about Harrow and Khonshu. Like what led him to be split from Khonshu, and why go towards Amen. So
that's the other way they could bring him back too. They could just tell that story
right.
in a limited series. When I texted, because I think I watched this before you did.
Yeah, you watched it.
I watched it the morning it came out.
Yeah.
And I didn't like the length. It runs like, I think it was 34 or 36 minutes.
Another short episode.
Plus the 8 minutes on top of that for the credits and the post-credit scene. But you had asked when I texted you, you think there are any tie-ins to Doctor Strange?
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't obvious to me immediately where they were. I assumed they were in New York,
right,
with Harrow, and so that's why I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, could be.
We could see like a cameo in Doctor Strange, because we know they were doing Doctor Strange reshoots back in February,
right?
But no Doctor Strange tie-ins here. It didn't really tie in.
Didn't tie in at
really,
all, period.
Really to anything. Overall, I like the series. I think it's on Letterboxd. You can rate the series as a whole, and I think I gave it 4 stars.
Yeah, that'd be right where I'm at for it.
Again, would rather have had 8 or 10 episodes, and would rather every episode have been 50 plus minutes. But they make these decisions.
So. Yeah, I feel like we should get feature-length shows, but what do I know? But speaking of cameos, though, Chris, I am going to thedirect.com by Russ Milheim. It was recently revealed that 2 Marvel crossovers were cut from early drafts of the Moon Knight script. Now, head writer Jeremy Slater has revealed a massive Marvel cameo that he had to take away for the good of the show, The Eternals. In an exclusive interview with The Direct, Russ Milheim, Moon Knight head director and executive producer Jeremy Slater opened about the Eternals' scrapped appearances from an early draft of the script. Slater revealed that he tried very hard to get the Eternals, specifically Kumail Nanjiani's Kingo, into a flashback sequence set in ancient Egypt. According to Slater, 3 or 4 of the Eternals would have partaken in a big action sequence involving one of Khonshu's avatars, yet the massively expensive concept was the main reason for its removal. He quotes, "I tried very hard to get Eternals into the show just because I'm buddies with Kumail. I wanted some Kingo. At one point, there was a flashback on the page that sort of showed one of Khonshu's avatars back in ancient Egypt, sort of dealing with Ammit being locked away in Alexander the Great, and all of that kind of stuff. You sort of saw this avatar team up with the Eternals. It was a really fun scene, but again, it was massively expensive to recreate ancient Egypt to sort of bring in 3 or 4 of the Eternals to have this big action sequence." So.
And we had talked when the show first started, like the Eternals, we could see them, at least some of them popping up in this. Didn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like we're right on track, though, with what the writers were thinking. Kind of, sort of, but still on track. But I hope for a season 2, but
it's weird that they say, it's weird that they say money was the prime reason. I'm like,
it's Disney and Marvel, you know. Y'all can do whatever.
So.
Like make 30-minute episode shows.
Money wasn't the motivating factor there. I think it was just they didn't want to tie it in right now.
Yeah.
They wanted it to kind of stand alone. And I think that makes sense, especially if they are planning to do something down the road where they bring Moon Knight and Blade and Ghost Rider and a number of these characters together. So. Werewolf by Night. No, they could go that route.
Right.
And
I want it so bad. But maybe one day we'll get there. But that was Moon Knight season 1. I enjoyed it. Like I said, right around the 4 out of 5 star range. I still think, as my list goes, I put it as a solid. I think I like Hawkeye better than this one, so I put this one at 4 on my list. You know, Falcon and Winter Soldier, WandaVision, Hawkeye, and then this, I think, is where I'm at right now. Yeah, because I didn't enjoy Loki that much. And What If is, you have to be into it, which.
Yeah.
So.
I can't remember my list.
I'm with you.
I put thought into it at the time, and we discussed it on one of the shows. I think it was right after. Which one? I think it was right after Hawkeye wrapped.
Yeah.
We kind of did like
a little
our order. I'd have to go back and. Yeah, I'd have to go back and watch it. Yeah. So I don't know where I would rate it offhand. Definitely above What If.
Yeah. Doesn't take much though.
No. Not that it was bad, but you know.
Yeah, just these live action,
right?
Continued stories, I think, in my eyes, are better. So.
And What If did foreshadow a lot.
Mm-hmm. And some are in the movies.
Yeah.
Quick news before we get into our movie, because I know everyone wants to know what we think of Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness. Number 1, new Jackass series in the works at Paramount Plus. I'm going to Variety.com by Jennifer Maz. Jackass is heading back to the small screen with a new series from the original creators in the works at Paramount Plus, after to the immense popularity of Jackass Forever. Based off the success of Jackass Forever, we're working with the creators to continue the partnership with the new series, bringing even more ridiculous antics straight to Paramount Plus. Paramount Global CEO Bob Bakesh said Tuesday during the company's Q1 earnings call Tuesday. I'm all in. I want more.
Yeah.
I love it. Always been about it, and I'm here for it. Next story, HBO Max is preparing another spin-off series from the Suicide Squad with the focus on Amanda Waller. Going back to Variety.com by Joe Otterson. Viola Davis is eyeing a return to the role of Amanda Waller in her own spin-off series currently in the works at HBO Max. Variety has learned from sources. Exact plot details are mostly under wraps at this point, but sources say the show will build off of Waller's appearance at the end of Suicide Squad spin-off series Peacemaker. It depends who writes and directs it. If James
Yeah.
Gunn has his hands in this again, I will definitely want to tune in. But there's nothing really. She's not Nick Fury. Like if Nick
Right.
Fury was getting his own show, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But Amanda Waller, I'm like, maybe.
I- If they officially, because they haven't done it with this per se, if they officially jumpstart Argus and get it going and start, but that takes us back to what Discovery said. They said that this is all a mess.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to reboot it. If you're rebooting it, why are you doing this?
Right. I imagine this was down the line already before the
Yeah,
buyout,
but
but I wonder if they'll kill it or not.
I could see him
So,
killing it.
yeah, I would personally, but that's
I
just me.
I could see him killing it because it's the statement that came out from Discovery. What I took from it was everything's going.
Yeah.
They're starting from scratch. That's why they said they're looking for their Kevin Feige, and that person's not in place yet.
Right.
So maybe they're just going to let this stuff go until. But the further along the line you get, the more time that passes,
Mm-hmm.
the more you're going to have to kill and undo.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems like a waste.
I wonder if they'll kill any of James Gunn's stuff because of how successful it is, especially with Peacemaker. I
They'll
wonder.
probably they'll probably pull a Marvel, kind of like with the Marvel Netflix series, where they'll say,
Mm,
"Yeah, that stuff exists, the characters exist, but we're not going to acknowledge that as canon.
yeah.
We're gonna."
God, that's some things.
But I do think there's, even though he's really good as Peacemaker,
Yeah.
I do think there's better characters that Cena could play in DC,
Mm,
more mainstream potentially characters that
yeah.
he could play.
Oh, one day we'll see. It's hopefully it's not too far away because I really want some good Superman stuff. We're going to CW for the most part. Number 3, Cobra Kai season 5 has been moved up to September 9th instead of its New Year's Eve release date like normal. That
Ooh,
came out early this morning with although Saturday morning with the trailer, and it's awesome. I'm all in. I'm so ready for it. The last
it's
thing
a
I've got
big
here,
jump.
yeah, dude, it's a. I don't know why they're doing it that way, unless and
They've
I
got
don't.
it ready and they're like, why not? Let's
Yeah.
just go ahead and
Well,
drop
they
it.
filmed it back to back because these kids are not getting any younger. So
Right.
that's the way that I see it. But that's one of those things that New Year's holiday, like I'm just like, oh yes, the new Cobra Kai season's coming out, and we binge at New Year's Day. But now we'll just have to do it on my birthday instead. So I'll take that.
Oh no.
Hi, Fury. Fury's back. And it has been revealed. This is a big one that came out early this Sunday morning. The sex education star, I'm going to butcher this guy's name, and I apologize, and I will learn it before I butcher it more. Nkudi Gatwa is the 14th Doctor on Doctor Who. I'm going to inews.com/.com.uk. Gatwa 29 will become the 14th Doctor on the popular BBC show, the first black actor to play the role full time. Star of Netflix's Sex Education, Nkudi Gatwa will take over from Jodie Whittaker as the Time Lord in Doctor Who, becoming the show's first black lead, the BBC has announced. Gatwa, age 29, will become the 14th Doctor of the popular show after Whittaker announced last July she'll be leaving the role. He says that he is deeply honored and a little bit scared to be taking on the role of Doctor Who in a show that means so much to so many. He said there aren't quite enough words to describe how I'm feeling, a mix of deeply honored, beyond excited, and of course a little bit scared. This role and show means so much to so many around the world, including myself, and each one of my incredibly talented predecessors has handled that unique responsibility and privilege with utmost care. I will endeavor my utmost to do the same. I'm excited. I have not watched anything of Jodie Whittaker stuff. It sounds like I need to. I've been meaning to, and just haven't gotten around to it. But with this guy coming on, there has been a lot of people extremely excited about this, and this is one of those things that's been rumored that the next Doctor is going to be the first black role, and everyone's been really excited. And apparently, this guy is really good in sex education, so it looks like he's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm gonna get caught up, hopefully before the new series comes out. So,
Yeah.
but I'm about it.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of first, right? Because she was the first female
Mm-hmm.
doctor. Now we're getting the first black doctor.
Yeah, and she was met with a lot of
So
criticism right up front, and not a lot of people liked her. And I fell off of Doctor Who after that last season before her, and just never jumped back on with other things coming up. But I am definitely
Yeah,
going to start watching again to get caught up. So,
cool.
and then releases this week. I've got a big fat zero. Nothing coming out this week.
None, yeah.
Nothing.
All right, well, on to movies. We don't have a lot in film between the films and the news. Um, have you been watching anything else? Or
No, nothing movie wise.
so
Gearing up
I
this week.
so I put one thing in movies that I watched just because of the length of it. It was like an hour and a half long, so it's basically feature length. So I was like, whatever. You can find this on YouTube. I don't know what other services it's on. I watched it on YouTube. It's called Secret Origin. It's a history of DC
Hmm,
documentary, narrated by Ryan Reynolds. So
really?
yeah, and it's quite a few years old. I think it came out around 2010,
Hmm,
2011. Um, I think I've seen it once before because some of
okay.
it seemed familiar. So I've either seen it or I saw clips from it. But it's really good to watch to get an idea of the start of the company and how certain heroes were transitioned across different ages. For those that
Hmm.
don't know, in comic books, you have different ages. You have the Golden Age, the Silver Age, and on. Um, Definitely worth a watch. And like I said, it's on YouTube, so
Did they mention George Perez at all?
yeah.
Do you remember?
I don't think so.
He's one of the like
Ne
top artists and writers and everything that died this weekend.
yeah,
So
yeah. Neil Adams was in there.
was a big one.
Yeah, he was in
Sounds like
there.
something I need to dip my toes into then.
Yeah, just it's a nice little. I mean, it's interesting, but it's something that you can watch while you're. I watched it while I was doing some stuff on MLB The Show.
Yeah.
So,
Hmm.
all right. Well, since we didn't have an actual movie to review this week, we're gonna. Just kidding.
Just kidding.
But we're not really gonna do a full review because we don't want
Mm-hmm.
to do spoilers. So,
Right.
um, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Mm-hmm.
This is. I'm gonna spoil this right away. I gave it a 4 out of 5.
Yeah. That's exactly where I lined up. Mine didn't change. I think that's what I said to you night of, and still thinking about it since then. I hadn't changed my score. That's exactly where I'm at.
Yeah, from Thursday night. I don't think I put it in my. I don't think I put it in my letterbox until Saturday.
Yeah.
So I kind of waited a little bit to
Let it
digest.
marinate a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. So the gist of the story is that Doctor Strange basically has to set some things right,
Mm-hmm.
and it centers around. Um, this isn't really a spoiler who it centers around because she's in the trailer,
Right.
right? America Chavez. The first thing you're going to see in the film is her with a different Strange. Um, I've heard different names given to him.
Yeah.
Um, I would just say Ponytail Strange.
Ponytail Strange.
Um, I think he's been described as Defender Strange,
That's what I've heard.
which is probably more accurate. Um, he's trying to keep a monster from getting America Chavez, and does not. Well, he succeeds, but he loses his life in the process.
Yeah.
Um, and she makes her way to our Doctor Strange's reality, and through a portal. We do find out one key thing that when characters in the MCU dream, what they're actually dreaming about are their other selves
God,
in other universes.
that set me through a loop. Because
I,
I'm thinking
it,
to myself, I'm like, oh, that's what all these dreams mean right now.
well, it does make you wonder though. It's like what if something like that does exist?
Right.
Um, because as a side note, I saw a reaction video to this video talking about how big the universe is.
Mm-hmm.
Just the known universe that we that scientists can see is so huge. They're saying that what they predict is beyond that is something like I want to say it was like 29 times the size of the current known universe.
Mm-mm.
And so there's got to be other people.
Yeah,
There's
there's
got to be
definitely
other
other. There's no
there's got
way
to be
there's
other
not. You
life.
know what I mean?
But what if it's set up like that? What if each of us has what we might call doppelgangers
And we're
on these
connected to
in
them
these other universe? Yeah,
some
and that
weird psychological way. Yeah, I'd be about it. That sounds fun.
it does make you wonder. Um, so the film basically centers around trying to save America Chavez. Should we tell them who's after her?
No, we gotta. I want to leave that to be a
Okay,
surprise.
okay.
So.
But he's essentially trying to save her and save some other people.
Mm-hmm.
This is a very vague review.
It's one of those you can't really do with like Spider-Man, because we could do a spoiler-free review of it because of the trailer
Right.
and or trailers, but this one it's like there's so many big wow moments
So
that yeah.
what you know from the trailer, and I never saw the TV spots. So
Mm-hmm.
but you know Wong is in this, and you know Wanda is in
Mm-hmm.
this. Strange, of course, and America Chavez. Um, sh- well, it was in the TV spot, so
The I word.
more well that, but
Yeah,
Mordo
yeah, Mordo.
specifically, and and the Illuminati.
Mm-hmm.
He mentions those in a TV spot. So the
I know it's hard.
it's hard. It's like, oh God, how, because I don't want to spoil anything.
Right. That's why
Um,
like in a couple of weeks it'll be a lot easier to talk about.
uh-huh.
But like it's I think I enjoyed this movie. Again, I give it 4 out of 5 stars here.
Yeah,
And it's a heavy, heavy Sam Raimi movie. Like if you're into
definitely.
his horror style, things like that, it's phenomenal. Um, I never jumped at this one. I know my brother did, and my wife said she jumped 3 times. And but it was there were several times I don't know if you ever heard me, but I said, mm-mm, nah, I don't like that.
Yeah,
And I was like,
yeah,
nah, I don't like that.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. So we can talk, right? Of course, as you said, Raimi directed. Zombie Strange is in
mm-hmm.
this. Now, the the early footage that we saw, everybody was like, "Oh, there's a zombie Wanda." There's not a zombie Wanda.
Right, no, that's not a thing.
Yeah, it was just the way it looked on
Yeah, the
camera,
way it was shot.
and yeah. Um, but yeah, the Raimi feel is definitely there. Bruce
Mm-hmm.
Campbell.
Yep.
That's not really a spoiler because if you know Sam Raimi, he always puts Bruce
It's
Campbell
like
in his
it's one of those
movies.
things. He's in everything. So
It's like when Stan Lee was still with us. He was always in a Marvel movie, so it wasn't
correct.
a spoiler to say Stan Lee's in the movie. Um, and his part's really funny.
Yeah, I
Um,
enjoyed that.
um, I I will say that America and Strange do go universe hopping.
Mm-hmm. That was a fun thing to see.
That was,
So
and it's not a spoiler. So let's give our give our thoughts on this universe. There's a universe out there where everyone is paint.
yeah, very weird.
Yeah, a little bit. So I guess if you wanted to be a villain, you would be paint thinner.
Right, paint thinner. I hate you. Trying to think.
The performances were fantastic.
Oh, why Elizabeth Olsen stole the movie for me by her performances,
Hmm.
and I there were certain things in there that we'll talk about when we do like a big spoiler cast for it. But like, there were certain things that terrified me in this movie, and there's one scene in particular that I can't believe was in this movie. Um, I think I said out loud. Um, and I know for sure I said "holy shit" once, but I think me and you were the only ones at the theater that really cared, or probably in the world that really cared about why I
Yeah,
said that.
yeah,
But it was a great movie. I really enjoyed it. Uh, Not my favorite MCU project like No Way Home was. That was a perfect love letter.
it was
But
such a tough follow-up
yeah, I mean it
for
really is
Doctor
hard to do that.
Strange. Uh,
But I feel like as much. I think this one was better than the first one. Um, so it was a good sequel to it. But I really enjoyed it. Make sure you watch WandaVision first. I mean, you
yeah,
should not go into this movie without seeing that show.
right. And I'll say this: you mentioned in the theater that as it was ending, I think the credits had started or something, and you said you were a little surprised that this didn't push over into an R rating, and it is on
Yeah,
that borderline.
I
I
I,
feel like
I
it's
have no idea how it did not make an R rating.
I feel like it's on the borderline. Just obviously from a language perspective, it's fine,
Hmm.
but maybe they got away with it because it's superhero violence.
Right.
Um, but there was a lot of, I think you were mainly talking about the imagery
Yeah, because it didn't
in a
really
lot of
show
cases.
it, but it it didn't really show it, but it showed it. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So.
And the way some of the deaths that occurred
Hmm.
were,
Very
yeah,
very brutal.
yeah.
So it shocked the hell out of me. So, but Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. Go see it, enjoy it, because it's definitely a good movie, and I want to see it again.
We'll
So,
probably, what, 2 weeks from now,
yeah, we did two
do
weeks.
2 weeks. We'll do a spoiler review in 2 weeks. So that's going to be a lot more fun to talk about
Yeah,
because we
that's
can
gonna be a whole
actually
lot of fun.
get into the nitty-gritty of it as opposed to there's not much you can say without giving stuff away,
Hmm.
especially that post-credit scene.
Hmm. Oh, there's so many good things like for our personally for our enjoyments with our properties, people,
Uh-huh.
scenes and stuff that we love. I can't wait to talk about it all.
Yeah. And by then, I'm sure people will have been spoiled to it if they haven't seen it yet, because
Right. They'll do that whole thing where they show off uh,
there's,
the characters in the TV spots and things like that. So they do that
yeah,
like after like 3 weeks of being out.
true that. Real quick, next week we don't have any shows, so we're going to do two movie reviews. Um, both are DJ properties, so
I see nothing wrong with that.
you can kind of tell Tyler influenced this. We are just going to go ahead for next week and watch Sherlock Holmes 2, Game of Shadows, and also U.S. Marshal. And I'm going to have to check later and see if somebody died or what's going
Yeah, I
on
don't know
because
because it's number one in the U.S. for movies on Netflix, and
yeah, and
I
it's
have no
from
idea why.
1998.
Right. So is there someone mention it somewhere and I just don't know about it or what? I don't know.
Mm, I don't. I'm actually going to look real quick and see. Hopefully nobody kicked the bucket. But yeah, I'm not seeing anything here. All right, cool. Well, hey, it'll be a good movie. I've never watched it. I
Mm-mm.
heard about it back in the day. Um, so a
I
little
just
more Doctor Strange talk here.
I googled it.
What?
Apparently, everyone's googling it as well. It says, "Why is U.S. Marshals trending on Netflix?" and nobody knows why. And it's like 3 hours ago, comicbook.com said surprising Robert Downey Jr. movie is #1 film on Netflix. A day ago, forgotten Robert Downey Jr. film is burning up the charts. And then just it's topping the charts everywhere. It looks like
I wonder I wonder if he tweeted about it, just like a random tweet,
right,
and everyone that follows him is,
just
I
like
don't know.
huh. And now every when I were talking about it, everyone else is talking about it. So I don't know.
Who knows? Um, from IGN.com, this was updated today.
Yeah, it was
Is
up.
that right?
I had to make sure it was updated today.
Um, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness wins the domestic weekend box office with $185 million. Globally, it has earned 450 million. And the article's by Adam Bankhurst. Um, it won the weekend box office domestically with ticket sales of 185 million. It also secured the 11th best domestic opening of all time. I'm looking for, let's see. It mentions that it surpassed all other COVID era MCU films except Spider Man No Way Home's $260 million opening. So basically, it surpassed Black Widow.
Yeah,
Um,
that doesn't take much. And Shang-Chi.
yeah, that's right, Shang-Chi. Um, I wanted to see further down here if there is any mention of its Friday numbers.
Oh,
I'm not seeing it.
no. Let
I
me.
don't think they included that. But I saw a post where it said its Friday numbers were like $90 million.
Mm-hmm. They were expecting it to cross over the 200 million, but never did. Close, but not.
It's also Mother's Day weekend,
Yes.
so that could be why people
Trying
might
to.
be, I could see a deal where people are like, well, it's Mother's Day weekend. We'll go see it next weekend.
Yeah.
I think it'll definitely have a strong second weekend.
It made 36 million on Thursday alone. So it's crazy. It's still mind-boggling to me. It's
Oh
a
yeah,
it's a
Eternals
lot of
came
money.
out during the COVID era too.
Yeah, nothing. It's it's a weird one to do.
It dethroned the Batman. It's the biggest opening in 2022, dethroning the Batman's $134 million first weekend.
Are we surprised though?
Not really.
No.
No.
And I think Thor: Love and Thunder is going to surpass Doctor Strange, if I had to
It's,
guess.
it says Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness earned another 265 million internationally, bringing its global tally to 450 million dollars. If it crosses the 1 billion mark globally, it'll have to do so without China, Russia, or Ukraine, as the film will most likely not open there.
Yeah,
Um,
because there's one small scene of a homosexual couple, and that's it. That's why China, Syria, places like that will not air it. Obviously, Ukraine or Russia will not be for
well,
war reasons, but
we're airing it here, so that's really all I'm concerned about.
right.
As long as I can see it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it does note the original Doctor Strange earned 85 million its opening weekend.
And just double it, triple it
Okay,
the
yeah,
budget.
here's the Friday, and the sequel flew past that on Friday alone with 90 million in ticket sales. I'd say it's doing all right for
Yeah,
itself.
I think it's gonna do okay. I think they're gonna get their money
Yeah.
back.
And then some.
Right.
Now, Tyler, you also added a news bit here of a film that we're going to review when we can
Mm-hmm.
finally see it. This comes from comicbook.com's Jamie Jirac. Baz Luhrmann's Elvis debut's first clip earned seal of approval from daughter Lisa Marie and granddaughter Riley Keough. It notes earlier this year the first trailer for the upcoming Elvis biopic was released by Warner Brothers and featured Once Upon a Time in Hollywood's Austin Butler as Elvis Presley. Elvis was helmed by Baz Luhrmann, Moulin Rouge, and The Great Gatsby, and also stars Tom Hanks as Elvis's manager, Colonel Tom Parker. Earlier this week, the iconic star's ex-wife Priscilla Presley took to Facebook to reveal she's seen the movie and gave it her seal of approval. Yesterday, a new clip from the movie was released, and Presley shared it to Instagram, adding more praise for Butler's performance. Um, this looks like it's going to be really, really good. I saw the trailer and then I tweeted the trailer to you, or
Mm-hmm.
I sent it to you. The footage that they just showed at CinemaCon, no one has seen that wasn't there. It was
Mm.
like an extended trailer, and it hasn't been released yet. I don't know if
I
that's a
hate that kind
CinemaCon
of thing.
thing
I hate
or
that. Share it with the
or
rest
what.
of us, okay?
Yeah, but it does open June 24th. Um, I'm curious to see. The thing about it is this: he's obviously still really popular.
Mm-hmm.
He's still, I think, ranks top 10 in money-making celebrities, and he hasn't been alive for
That's
over 40
crazy.
years. Um, that's an annual list that comes out, and he's usually still in the top 10. Um, but I have a feeling this is going to do for him with young people what Walk the Line did for Johnny Cash.
Mm-hmm. I am
I think it's
100% the same boat.
I think it's just gonna, but I also there's a little part of me that worries because of the culture that we live in now
Yeah.
with cancel culture and everything, because people familiar with the story know that when he met Priscilla, he was 24 and she was 14.
Yeah.
So
Uh, I
I
wonder if
kind
they'll
of
even
wonder,
address that in the movie or they just kind of let it slide. Just not talk about age, maybe. But
maybe,
we'll see.
but that's the only thing I'd be concerned about, that the cancel culture people will get up and be like,
Yeah.
that was wrong. It's like, she, she was fine.
Yeah.
She,
She's still doing okay. So.
yeah. Well, she also claimed for years that nothing happened until they got married.
Yeah. That works then.
She was there, she'd know.
Yeah. So firsthand source,
It's not hearsay.
Right.
If you've been watching the Johnny Depp trial, you know all about
What a trial. Man, what a
hearsay.
trial, dude.
When
Oh,
Johnny Depp's on the stand going, I know, right? Objection, hearsay.
right.
Uh,
I hope he gets every penny owed to him.
yeah,
And that's
yeah.
something else too, man. I know this is a little bit off a tangent, but Disney and Pirates of the Caribbean laid him off as soon as that was said. Oh,
Hmm.
something Amber said something, and then he's come in this trial, and they've asked, would you go back to Disney? He said, nope, not even for $70 million. He said they treated me. It was guilty until proven innocent, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I kind of hate that. That's what he says too. Is it's I made this movie series what it is. He goes, I put my own money into it. I've put blood, sweat, and tears in it, and to be treated like that, off of just her saying that, I'm like, I hate it for him so bad. But he
Yeah.
said he'll never go back. So I'm like, well, you can't do Pirates without him. So
All right. It also means though that he'll probably never do a Marvel movie.
yeah,
He could go DC, uh,
yeah,
which
he has done
I
with. Well, I don't know if he will though, because they did the same thing with the Fantastic Beast, because he was in that too and then got removed from it for the same reasons.
I wonder though, because if he went strictly to a DC project, like if she's never brought back to Aquaman and
God, I
he
don't want her in that movie.
and he enters the DC universe, kind of like I'm in, you're out kind of thing.
Right. I'd be okay
I
with
don't
it.
know.
That'd be a slap in the face.
Um,
I'd like it.
but I wonder if it'll change the way all those things have been going.
Right.
You know, because like you said, they just took her word
Mm-hmm.
and blackballed me
And
basically.
lost everything.
There have been college athletes that have had um, people say, "Oh, well, this person assaulted me,
Mm-hmm.
sexually assaulted me, or whatever," and would admit later, well, no, they actually broke up with me, and I just wanted to get back at them.
Yep.
But by then, the team that they played for released them. The schools kicked them out.
Mm-hmm.
All that's done, and there's no repercussions for the person
No,
making the false claim.
they should go to jail. That's just
They
period as
really
it is.
should. Maybe she will. I don't know.
We'll see.
Anyway,
She's a celebrity. They don't ever go to jail.
no, she'll get that Martha Stewart prison.
Right.
Um, Releases this week. This looks like a good movie. It's the remake of Stephen King's Firestarter
I even
in
think that looks good.
cinemas May 13th. So the little girl in it, she looked familiar. And I was like, where have I seen her? And my first thought was maybe I saw her in a Marvel movie or something because I watch a lot of that. She was the daughter in the first story arc of this past season of American Horror Story.
Mm.
So that's where I'd seen her. She's really good.
Okay.
So this is
Might be
probably
something
going
to
to be a
check out
really
then.
good movie.
Okay.
Might be something to check out. Um, and if you haven't seen the original, check it out. Stars Drew Barrymore. Good watch.
Hmm.
On to games, Tyler.
Let me tell you, not a whole lot going on. Like we're ramping up to the month of the E3 time ish. Although obviously E3 is dead now, but we are getting to that showcase time. Don't really have a lot of gaming news, so I've been playing Destiny 2. Guardian Games came out this past week, which is their yearly summer Olympic style games between the three classes, and you all battle it out kind of stuff and donate medals to win. Last year, Hunters won. The year before that, the Titans won. Obviously, I'm a Titan. I got the pillows behind me. And so far, though, Warlocks have been winning this past week, and just out of control, and we cannot have that. All right. So I need everyone to log in as Titans and win. Other than that, Chris, you been playing anything crazy fun?
I've just been. The show dropped a new program, and we only had like 3 weeks to get it done. So I've just been
Oh, that sounds about right.
grinding that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want you to
Like at
play that
least,
and nothing else.
yeah. Plus to finish it, it's 150 more XP to finish this one than the last program.
Okay.
150,000 more. So it's like you gave us about 10 days less and added more XP to
Yeah.
finish it. So
Sounds about
yeah,
right. Sounds like something they would do.
yeah.
Uh, Notable new releases this week. Evil Dead, the game with Bruce Campbell, comes out on everything May 13th. Again, nothing really coming out anytime soon. It's backlog season. I'm still been playing Destiny. I jumped back into. Been playing Persona 5 Royal, which I feel like I am almost done with. I could potentially finish that within the next 2 weeks, which is what I would
Mhm.
like to do, so I could jump into something else. I've got like
E-
3 trophies away from the platinum. So,
Evil Dead the
right.
game. See, that sounds like something you should stream yourself playing.
Did you ever play the Friday the 13th or the Predator games? Or remember anything about those? Because that's in the past like 2 or 3 years.
I started Friday the 13th. Um,
It's the same people.
I did not start the Predator game. Friday the 13th, what I played, I thought was good. That's always such a weird series. I had the original for Nintendo,
Yeah.
and it was because whether you play as Jason or whether you play as a camper, you have to basically just follow people
Mm-hmm.
if you're him and try and catch them, and it'll kind of some of it's just wandering around till
Right.
till you start getting the marker that shows you where someone's at. Or so I don't know. It was okay. I'd like to go back and finish it and just see if I was missing something.
right.
Um, but I don't like to have my hand held on games like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I want a little bit more than what they gave me. Like
Right.
I don't want to just wander through the woods around Crystal Lake until,
And be
oh, look.
listening and yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know the Predator game it was like a big upgrade, and this one's supposed to be another upgrade as well, as far as like that fun factor and things like that. So we'll see when reviews come out. I don't think reviews are out for this yet. I know previews are, but not reviews. So
It's kind
we'll see.
of
Should be this week
odd
though.
with it dropping that soon, 'cause it drops. Would you say May 13th?
Mm-hmm.
You would think some reviews would already be out.
I imagine it'll drop Tuesday or Wednesday. It just depends. Like with the games like these, it's sometimes it's a good thing or a bad thing that they haven't dropped
Mhm.
yet. So it just depends on the game. But it's for the people that enjoy the Predator and then Friday the 13th game. It's exactly it, except it's with Evil Dead series and not them. So we'll see when it comes out. Might be a fun one to look into sometime down the line. But I
Yeah,
got so many backlogs I gotta play.
I think Telltale would have done really well with like Evil Dead and Friday the 13th.
I miss Telltale.
Aren't they coming back? I thought I heard that they were
Yeah, it's
restarting.
like a new subsidiary. Not really a new subsidiary, but it's like some of the old people are coming back for it and bringing it back in. We haven't really heard much. I know they're doing a Borderlands 2. Tales of the Borderlands 2, rather. They announced
Uh-huh.
that a couple weeks ago. So we'll see what else. I know The Wolf Among Us 2 is a thing. I haven't played the first one. I need to play that one. I think it's on Game
They
Pass.
should do a boys game.
Oh, I don't know how you. There's just blood and guts everywhere. Is all that is. But ladies and gentlemen, this has been this week's episode of the NerdWide podcast. Thank you so much for listening. We all hope you enjoyed the episode. Don't forget to share it on all your favorite social media platforms, and forget to rate and review this podcast on your favorite podcasting apps. On social media, you can follow NerdWide on Twitter at nerd_wide. You can follow me personally at Ty_Haynes, and you can follow Chris at MavTN7 on Facebook. Just search up nerdwide.com. We'll be the first one there. Click us and follow us there. Twitter and Facebook, both of them, send notifications out as soon as the podcast goes live on audio. So make sure you are there. Obviously, YouTube is first. But guys, this has been this week's episode of the NerdWide podcast. Thank you so much for listening, and we cannot wait to talk to you next week with a movie episode. Talk to you then.
Later, guys.